In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a PDF and create an interactive online worksheet. The first thing you're going to want to do is have your PDF open. Once you have your PDF, you're going to want to take a screenshot of that. So you'll notice that I can't quite see my entire PDF here. So I'm going to want to zoom out on this document. And to do that, you're going to go to View in the top left corner and then zoom out. Once you'll do that, you'll notice that you will have the little zoom out feature here, so I can zoom out some more. And then once I have my entire PDF visible, I'm going to take a screenshot. So on your Mac, that's Shift Command 4. When you do that, you'll get this little crossbar, and then I'm going to select the area that I would like to take a screenshot of. Once I let go, it takes that screenshot and puts it on my desktop. And then I'm also going to do this second page as well. Again, that's Shift Command 4. Once you have your PDF screenshots, then you are going to go into your Google Drive and create a new Google slide. You're going to want to title your worksheet. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the slide layout. So currently it looks like a normal presentation slide. So you're going to go into File, Page Setup. You'll notice that it defaults to widescreen, but if you click the down arrow, you can customize that. And I'm going to change my width to 8.5 and my height to 11 and click Apply. Now it looks like the size of a sheet of paper. I'm just getting rid of those text boxes, and now I'm going to insert those screenshots that I just took. The best way to do that is to make sure that you're inserting it as a background so that your students don't accidentally delete that. So I'm going to click on Background, choose Image, and then I'm going to Browse. Again, those screenshots are automatically saved to your desktop. So I'm going to select that screenshot, and then I can hit Done. Now you'll notice that I have my worksheet as my document. I can't move it. It is there. Now this was a 2-page worksheet that I wanted to include, so I'm going to go in the top left corner, add an additional blank slide, and then I can insert that second screenshot as a second background. Okay, so now that I have my 2 worksheets, the next thing you're going to want to do is insert text boxes for your students to fill out. Depending on the age of the students, you could skip this step, and then you're just going to have to teach them how to add a text box for where they need to type. But at the beginning of the year, it's always good to provide that for them, so I'm going to click on the text box, and then I'm going to put where I would like that to be. If you do not type anything inside the text box, it will disappear or be hard for your students to find. So I always type something like type here, or you could put a question mark, and then students, you'll just have to instruct them that when they go to type their answer, they're going to want to delete that. You can also change the font so it stands out for your students as well. So for example, I want them to type here, or you could keep it black if you would like. So once I have one text box, then all I'm going to do is copy that and put those in the other places. And then I can just click and move them around so that I have a text box for each section I would like my students to type. Okay, so I have all my text boxes added to this page, so now I'm going to move to page 2. When I'm on page 2, you'll notice that this one is multiple choice. So in this situation, there's a couple things you can do. What I recommend is giving students circles so that they can move it and circle the correct choice, or even maybe an underline. But then you're just going to have to explain to them what your expectations are. So what I would do is I would insert that circle for them. So I'm going to click on this shape icon, click on shapes, and then circle. And I'm just going to click and drag and create a circle that I think would be appropriate. You'll notice that it automatically fills that circle in, so I'm going to want to get rid of that. And I can do that by clicking on this fill color icon and then make that transparent. Now I have a circle, and you'll notice I can click and drag it and then circle whatever correct answer. So I'm just going to make this circle stand out a little bit better so that for me as a teacher, I can see it when my students turn in this work. So I'm changing the color. So I'm clicking on this pencil icon. I change the color to red. I also am going to adjust the border weight, which is right next to it. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker, so again, it's easier to see. And now the students can click and move it to the correct answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy that and make enough. There are 5 multiple choice questions, so I'm going to copy this 5 times. And then I can place them, maybe I place one by each question so that students know they're going to click and drag this. Another thing I would probably want to do, and I'll do that once I'm done adding text boxes to this bottom one, is include instructions for my students so that they know what to do and they always have that as a reminder. So I'm just going to real quickly add some text boxes for this part E, and then I will add some instructions. Okay, so I've added all my questions, my text boxes for my students to fill in. So now I'm going to add some instructions for my students. So I'm going to go back to my first page. And the nice thing about a Google Slide is that I can actually put stuff in this workspace around the outside edges, especially if I'm not going to be presenting or printing. So I'm going to add a text box, and I'm going to put this again outside off the worksheet. I do want this text box to stand out because it is instructions. So I'm going to fill this text box with a color. And then I'm going to make sure that my font students can see. So I'm going to say these are my instructions. So on this page, they are going to fill out the worksheet by clicking on type here. And then I'm going to have them delete the text, type here, and insert your answer. And you could adjust those instructions. Obviously, this would be just one example of instructions that you would want. And you know what? I have the type here, but I also have the question marks. So I might say fill out the worksheet by clicking on type here or the question mark, and then delete the text and insert your answer. So now I have these instructions. They're not on the worksheet. They're not covering up the worksheet, but they're available to my students. On the second page, I might want different instructions, but I'm just going to copy this text box and paste it on page 2, and then I can adjust it. So maybe on this one, I want to say the instructions for numbers 1 through 5 are going to be different than instructions for part E. So I have my part E, which is the same as before, right? So you're going to, 1, fill out the worksheet by clicking on the question mark. In this case, I don't have type here. And then I want them to delete the text, delete the question mark, and type in their answer. And maybe I'm actually going to change this to your answer. And I'm going to change that on that first one too. Okay, so I have part E, the instructions are there. Parts 1 through 5, I'm going to say, okay, move the circle to the correct answer. And depending on how specific you want to be, I could say move the red circle to the correct answer, and then it's there for my students. Okay, so now I have my interactive worksheet. I have my all the tools that my students are going to need to complete that. One thing that I will just say is, depending on the type of PDF that you have, students might want to zoom in to look closely at that. So this is, again, just a teaching tool. You as a teacher or your students always can zoom in. You are doing that using this zoom icon, which is the magnifying glass with the plus in it. And when I click on that, you'll notice that it automatically pre-populates it to fit on the page. But if I wanted to, if I was a student and I was completing this worksheet, I could always click on 100%. It then zooms in the worksheet for me, and then all I have to do is scroll if needed. So that is a brief tutorial on how to create interactive worksheets from a PDF.